What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here to bring you another episode of our local diaries. So let us jump right in. So, with a huge announcement of Phantom Nightmare coming soon to all of us, fire decks are about to erupt. So, to jump on that bandwagon, and as you guys have seen, I have been playing Rescue Ace. We are going to be playing Rescue Ace for today's locals. So, it's not going to be your typical Rescue Ace with Snake Eye, Fire King, none of that. We are playing Rescue Ace. So, let me show you our profile before we head on over to locals and see how well we can do in a format that is just so engulfed in flames. So let's dive right in. All right, you guys, let me show you our Rescue Ace profile. So, since Maze of Millennia reprinted Hydrant and Turbulence, Rescue Ace has gone more budget. And I am talking pure Rescue Ace, not Rescue Ace Diabell Star, not Rescue Ace Diabell Star Fire King, none of that. We're just talking Rescue Ace. So for us, since we are more of a budget rogue, we are playing Rescue Ace. So we are starting with 3 Hydrant, 2 Turbulence, 2 Preventer, 2 Impulse, 1 Airlifter, 1 Fire Engine, and 1 Fire Attacker. So this is pretty much like a standard Rescue Ace line that I am wanting to play. Since we lost Airlifter to 1, we don't have the advantage of being able to have just a lot of full card combos. So this is what we do play. And if you do have the money for it, you can definitely invest into the Diabell Star engine. But as I don't, we are just going to be running with what we got. So that's what that is. And since, Rescue Ace did get reprinted in Maze of Millennia, it is pretty cheap. You could probably build a deck for $100, and I can show you what to take out from my build if you are wanting to keep it in that kind of price range. So yeah, and we've got 3 copies of Emergency, 1 Alert, 1 Rescue, 1 HQ, 1 Contain, and 1 Extinguish as a pretty standard Rescue Ace spell trap lineup. Then we are playing 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity, 1 Rhoda, just to kind of get searches, and then 1 Called by the Grave, since we want to hit all those hand traps that get thrown at us. And then the rest of our deck is really just a bunch of hand traps. So we are playing 3 copies of Ash, 3 Veilers, 3 DD Crow, 3 Droll, and 3 Imperm. So this is really just to hit every deck. And as we have been a really good Cyberse player in the past, where we just play a whole bunch of hand traps, this is the same thing that we're just kind of doing. But at least this time we have the advantage of using Product Prosperity, not really hurting our extra deck as much. Which, speaking of our extra deck, this is where things get a little interesting. We are playing 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp, 1 Garura, and 1 Guilty Gearfried. I know what it looks like, Super Poly targets, and we weren't maining Super Poly, that's because we do have it inside. And then we are playing 1 Cyberse to Savor. So this is going to be a build that I attempted to play in the past, but really didn't get from the beginning. So we're giving it a second chance. And we are playing 1 Mirologic Aggregator. As you can see, we are going for the Fireball Terahertz. We play 1 Almirage, 1 Link Revo, 1 G-Golem Crystal Heart, 1 IP Masquerina, 1 Binary Sorceress, 1 Silent Great Sunlight Wolf, 1 Hita, 1 Decode, 1 Access Code, and 1 Fireball Dragon Neo Tempest Terahertz. So, if you can't afford the Access Code, you can just, rather than play Access Code, what you play in its place would be Avermax, which is still really great for this deck. Otherwise, that's the most expensive card in the extra. And then if you don't want to play the Super Poly package, you just play Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, and Dark the Dark Charmer. And you're pretty much still solid and a really great deck. And then moving on to our side deck, we have 3 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being as our one and only hand trap that we are siding. I think if people are caught lacking, you know, we hit them with the nib. And then we are playing 3 copies of Super Poly in the side, like I said, 2 copies of Lightning Storm with 1 Duster, 3 copies of Enemy Controller, and then 3 copies of Evenly Matched, just because Evenly Matched is just really great overall. Enemy Controller is just really great to kind of steal your opponent's stuff, or even like change battle position, which might come up. Super Poly is just really great at board breaking. So yeah, that is my profile that we'll be rolling with today. I think that this will be a good contender, but I mean, it's not as resilient as the Rescue Ace, Fire King, Diabell Star, just because that does have more gas that it can push through, more that it can bait before it gets in the Rescue Ace engine. But we're still going to give it a try because I like Rescue Ace. So let's see what we can do at locals. Welcome, duelists, to Duke City Games. Let's head on in. So what is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyberse sitting here at our local shop here at Duke City Games, where we took a bye round 1 for Yu-Gi-Oh! So we got 15 players out tonight, all before our sneak preview tomorrow for Phantom Nightmare. And honestly, I'm excited to play Rescue Ace in its nullified form. We'll see how well we can do with it, and we'll see if we can indeed top with it, but we shall find out, okay? So, yeah, that's round 1. I got a bye, so we'll get a free win for 4 rounds, and we'll see where rounds 2, 3, 4 take us. So the luck against Labyrinth still continues. So our first round actually playing, and we play against Labyrinth. And so with transaction rollback now being in effect, you know, the deck is a little bit better. Game 1, I opened a bunch of hand traps and no start, or I started with Emergency. I drew for turn and I drew into a Rescue Ace. So I was like, all right, we good. I go Emergency and I just kind of pop off, but he had Super Poly set. He had all the answers to answer with his back row, and I could not take a win. Game 2, I opt to go first. We're able to like kind of set up our board, not to the way I wanted to, but we were able to end on Heat Soul and just kind of pass, but he knew what I had. I had Airlifter Impulse, and then when I go Heat Soul, guess what I draw? I draw Prosperity, and I used Prosperity on my last turn, so I couldn't draw off of Heat Soul. Yeah, we ended up taking a fat L against Labyrinth, but just mad respect to the player as he was, you know, doing his thing. He piloted the deck really well. Still not a huge fan of it, but hey, we lose. So we're 1-1 right now, technically, but I really don't like counting buys. So we're 0-1. 2 more rounds to go, so we'll see if Rescue Ace can do anything or if it just pure. But for budget, it is really good, so remember that. All right, so round 3, we play against Fire King, and we all know the bad luck that I have with Fire King. So this Fire King was the Nadir Dogmatica package with the Charade, Bucephalus, you know, that package. Game 1, I go first, and I set up Heat Soul on my board and pass. I wanted to go into the no, game 1 did not end like that. It did not end like that. It was a whole bunch of setting and passing because we both bricked in the hand traps. And I tried putting it on my board, tried putting it, and he kept hand trapping. And then I made some mistakes where I could have done things a little bit differently to bait things out. But we still take the end going into Heat Soul and then access code to move the board. And then we take game 1. Game 2, he goes first. I have all the right responses. Or no, I didn't even have to respond. He set up his board. I was like, all right. I went shot through the imperm down during the draw phase. And then I went emergency and then rescue. And then I was able to control the tempo of the board right there. And we were able to just secure our win going into our terahertz. And we were able to take the W. Could have gone access code and just clear the board, but we decided to get a little bit fancy, throw out the terahertz, so that way he couldn't activate any of his Fire King monsters when they were destroyed by battle. So we were smart in that regard, and we were able to take the win. So we are 2-1 thanks to the bye, 1-1 we exclude the bye, but rankings will keep the bye. And we're doing pretty good. Rescue Ace isn't doing that badly. The only problem is, yeah, we are playing a lot of hand traps, So we do brick into a lot of hand traps. You can definitely supplement that out with, I am low-key thinking about playing Durandal, so that way Durandal can also search Impulse and Airlifter outside of the one Rhoda that we play, instead of the Pot of Prosperity, but the Pot of Prosperity does help us dig into the deck, which is helpful and useful. But sometimes it backfires when you want to set the Heat Tool, or you draw Pot of Prosperity off the Heat Tool like we did in the Labyrinth match. But we are doing pretty good with the deck. I am still loving it. We're still cooking, and hopefully we can take, a top seat so that way we can get some good price support. But who knows? Competition's looking pretty big. So we'll see what happens there, duelists. Stay tuned. Okay, what a last round. So round 4, we play against Vanquished Soul, a deck that we are really familiar with and hoping to pick up ourselves to play. So game 1, he opens first. We're able to control a little bit of the tempo, and we were able to take the game. It was a lot of good back and forth in that game 1, which is really cool. Game 2, same thing. It was a lot of good back and forth, but he had the upper hand this time, going first again. And I just could not keep up. I seen a lot of the one-ofs with the Rescue Ace. I saw Monitor and Airlifter. I was like, oh, come on. Anything but this would be nice. And then I drew an Impulse. I was like, okay. But that was not enough to keep me in the game, as he was able to control the tempo. And Airlifter, I'm sorry, having you get negated kind of sucked. So game 3, it was a lot of, we had barely any time left. I was able to set up my board, go into Terahertz, and I was able to send the Save Worm to the graveyard, and I was like, all right, we can control this. He goes Fenrir, I just negate the Fenrir. He goes Stake Your Soul, I go to Save Worm to negate it, and time is called, and we end up tying, which was really cool. My opponent, kudos to him. He was really patient, and he was also really knowledgeable about the deck. And it was just a good match overall. All my matches tonight were really great. Even though we did take an L and we did the draw, or the bye, it was still so fun tonight piloting Rescue Ace. And mind you, a Rescue Ace that's not playing Snake Eyes, not playing the Wanted, not playing a Fire King variant. This is just Rescue Ace. Still really good, still really fun to play, and I loved it. We ended up taking 5th out of, I think, 15 tonight, which was not bad, but again, we didn't get the cut for prizing, but we're hoping to change that tomorrow for our sneak peek, and we'll get this video posted before our sneak peek, so that way you guys can check this out. So that is it for this local diaries, guys. Honestly, I loved Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace did a really good job. We did a lot of trading today, and we're hoping to have a new deck unveiled shortly, but who knows? So stay tuned, guys, and we'll pass it over to you so we can catch you on the next video.